Bible. I go to Bible. See you. I go to Bible. Say neighbor. Nene. Bobo. You are in for a great time. What's your neighbor? Hold the neighbor. Say neighbor. This your hand. Will be the best time. The trainer. In 2026. Squeeze the hand. Squeeze the hand. Come on, bro. Squeeze that hand. Very soft, Abby. Okay, well, I want us to say a prayer to that. You will say, neighbor. I pray for you today. You will have super abundant grace. 2026. Neighbor. Whatever is in your account, any denomination, any currency, let it enter my account. You don't like that prayer? I thought you liked that prayer. Put your hands together for yourselves, guys. I think I like these people. I like this audience. You guys are very friendly, very receptive. But if you know anybody that should be here, I'd like for you to call them right now. As you can see, Train the Trainer Summit, January 2026. And the theme is very powerful. All right? We are empowering our generation, next leaders, raising children to thrive and lead. When I was coming in here, I discovered that Ebonyi State, I don't know if the guys here can help me with this. Ebonyi State is the salt of the nation. Do you know what that is? Do you know what that is? If you cook a food and then there's no salt, how would that food taste? The food will be tasteless. So it is very, very important what we are doing here. All right? Because we are raising the next generation. We call it Generation Next leaders from the salt of Nigeria. Put your hands together for yourselves, I beg. And we are very vibrant on social media. Please, multimedia, I'd like for you to just flag our social media. Mobile phone. Bring out your mobile phones, please. Let's do something very important. This is really something that we don't take lightly at all. If the multimedia can have our social media handles displayed. Now, we have social media handles, and I'm not sure any of you paid a gate fee to get into this place, right? Did you? You didn't pay, right? So what we just need you to do is follow us on social media. If you are on Facebook, that's the Facebook handle, the Dukes Infant and Child. If you're on Instagram, Dukes Infant _Child. If you're on X, TDIC Foundation. And of course, we have a WhatsApp channel with that number, 0811-889-9848. We want you to follow those channels and be rest assured that when you do, you're really, really telling us thank you. All right? That's what we want you to do. Say hi to the number on WhatsApp. Now, that's our WhatsApp number. When you say hi, we're going to add you to our WhatsApp channel, and we can interface with you. Is that all right? Are we together on that one? So, also, I need to get feedbacks. If you've seen us, hello. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, innovation for our winner. Just rise to your feet as you give her a big. You can do better than that. You can do better than that. Please give her a big hand. Give her a big hand. That's the brain behind the Trainer Summit, Mrs. Augusta. You're going to hear us speak in a bit. All right, so I was just walking you through the need to get on social media. So how many of you have seen us on Facebook? You've seen us on Facebook already. Let me see your hand. Okay. It's not up to 5. Why now? We're more than 5 people here. What about Instagram? You've seen us on Instagram. Have you followed? Seeing us is not enough. Push follow. Push the follow button. Who has sent a message on WhatsApp? You've sent a message on WhatsApp already. Only 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You've sent a message on WhatsApp. All right, thank you so much. Thank you. Now, you guys are really cooperating. I like the fact that we are in Ebonyi State, Abakaliki. And I said that you are the salt of what? The salt of the nation. Thank you all so much. So we're going to begin like right now. All right. So can we shine the light again? Remember, we are going to keep saying this, shine the light till we leave this place. All right? And we're not going to stop. Even when you get back to your houses, to your schools, ensure you shine the light. All right? So for those of you who just joined us, we have a tradition, we have a pattern by which we shine the light. We say, shine the light, Nigeria. Shine the light, Ebonyi State. I like for us to put the state behind it, all right? And then shine the light, Abakaliki. Can we do it now? Are you ready? All right, so let's shine the light. 1, 2, go. Ebonyi State. You're doing it as though you're not ready to shine the light. You know what? Sure, you have phones, right? Do this. Do this. No, on your torchlight. That's more like it. Let's be sure that you're shining the light. So just bring out your phone touch and beautiful. Multimedia you're capturing, right? Lovely. All right, so let's do it one more time. Here we are. Shine the light. On your state. Shine the light. You know, we're waiting. We're going to be having our convener give us a welcome address. I want us to stand and shine the light again. If we can even have the place dim, it will be lovely. So we really have the best of pictures. All right, so can we just rise as we shine the light again? One more time. This time around, you wave it above your head. Those controlling the light, wish we can really have some dark room. All right. Mama, you have your light already. Thank you. All right. 1, 2, go. Shine the light, Nigeria. Shine the light, Ebonyi State. Shine the light. Put your hands together for yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together. Thank you. Or make some noise. That's
Infant
more like
and
it.
Child Foundation, advocating for children's brighter future.
All right, so at this point, we're going to kickstart the meeting proper. The Train the Trainer Summit is brought to you by the Duke's Infant and Child Foundation. Nigeria, which you are. Nigeria, which you are. You'll be more equipped to become better parents, better teachers, better God teachers, better guardians. We want to safeguard the next generation. How many of you believe that the children are the next generation? You believe that, right? And like the Bible said, train up a child in the way he should go. Remember? So there's a way a child should go. And that's why we are here, to get the latest information, the latest update about the way a child should go. And at this junction, I'd like to make welcome our convener. She's our convener. She's so full of love and full of light. I want all of us to give her a big hand. Uh-oh. Are we off in the lights now? Wow. I think we should leave the lights back on. We're done shining the lights for now. We're still going to shine the light. But I want for us to just give her a warm welcome with your hands. As I make welcome to the microphone, Mrs. Augusta Anyanwu Ebong. Please give her a big hand.
Thank you. Good morning, Ebonyi State. Good morning, Abakaliki. This is my first time of being in Ebonyi and being in Abakaliki. Your city is beautiful. Good morning. Good morning. GC, I want to confirm, have we prayed? Okay. So we declare the Trendy Trainer Summit Ebonyi State happening right here in Abakaliki open in the name of God the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. I'm very glad standing before you this morning in the beautiful city of Abakaliki to address us, the guardians, the champions, the molders, the trainers of our next generation. Thank you for deeming it worthy to come here. If you're here, you love Nigeria. If you're here, you want to make a change for the good of our land. If you're here, you are interested in crafting a better future for our generation next, for our children, and it will happen in our time. Are we together? So good morning, distinguished guests. Good morning, educators. Do we have educators in our midst? Do we have school owners? We have teachers, and of course, we are parents. Okay, so when we gathered in Asaba Delta State last year, in November precisely, we were shocked at the outcome. We were shocked at the number of people that answered the call to invest in the future of our next generation. It was to test an idea, ignite a vision, and birth a movement. Today, we can confidently say that Trendy Trainer Summit has moved beyond concept into impact. So first, let me thank the Director of National Orientation Agency. At a very short notice, he answered the call. Thank you, sir. You and your team, we are grateful. Thank you. So participants in Delta were left with renewed clarity. We repeated the same in Anambra, in Oka 2 days ago. We saw the passion. We saw the joy. We saw the interest in Nigerians. We saw the readiness in all of us to craft a beautiful future. So today, I want you to bring on board open mind through practical sessions. We have experts that will be talking to you in diverse fields. Just come with your open mind. We'll give you, as teachers, as caregivers, as guardians, as parents, as community leaders, we'll equip you with modern tools. We'll equip you with modern tools that is relevant in this 21st century for emotional intelligence, for mentorship, and for character development for our generation next. And who are these our generation next? Those still within moldable age, our children, we call them the Gen Alpha. as parents, we want you to be reawakened to the influence of the modern society, the influence of the social media, the influence that we should face now, the modern times that we should face, not with fear, but with courage. We need to be informed to guide them aright. So, as parents, as stakeholders, we will be confronted with realities of digital exposure and embrace the responsibility of guiding our children with wisdom. Like I said, not fear. A shared national consciousness emerged around raising boys and girls who are grounded, purpose driven, and leadership ready. So, together, we'll have experts tackle the scourge of drug abuse. We'll have experts tackle the issues around the pressure facing our young children, our younger generation, so that together we will guide them aright. Because as we speak right now, the issues around confused identity, pressure around get rich quick syndrome, pressure around drug abuse, all of those are mounting heavy on our children. The exposure of the modern world. This is a pandemic, it's a national emergency. So, building on the success and lessons of what we did in 2025, the pilot scheme, the 2020 Summit now moves into its next phase. Beginning this January, we are holding this session in 7 states in January. Oka, that's Anambra State. In Oka, it held 2 days ago. Ebonyi, here in Abakaliki, happening live. Enugu will hold their turn tomorrow. Then we'll have Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Rivers, and then Kwara. From there, the train will move to other states in the Federation and FCT. As the movement goes national, the charge remains clear. We are not just trainers, we are torch bearers. We are not just caregivers, we are gatekeepers of our children's destiny. The future of Nigeria, I usually repeat this, is not in the next election, it's in our next generation. So, the work of raising our next generation must be intentional going forward. We should be courageous, and collectively, we will continue this across the nation. Welcome on board. Thank you for joining the movement.
I thought that was a speech that we should put our hands together for. All right. There's a way we clap here. I don't know if you've been tutored on how we do it. We go on different styles. We can go like this. So somebody do this. Roll and we clap and we give it to the person. All right? So can we try that? Roll. Thank you. So right now we'll be moving on to, thank you very much, madam, for the opportunity and that powerful speech. And now we'll be moving on to the very first speaker for today. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, trainers, teachers, guardians, and all that is concerned with the upbringing of a child. We would have our first speaker. Her name is Barrister Mrs. Empress Ugo Ferdinand. And I'll just read a little bit of her bio. She's a transformational educator, a lawyer, a certified mediator, teens and youth coach, and community development advocate, committed to reshaping education, justice, and ethical leadership in Nigeria and beyond. Her mission is to raise a new generation of value-driven learners, educators, and leaders equipped for lasting impact. She's the founder of the Brooke Lores Group of Schools, which includes Brooke Lores Academy, Brooke Lores College, and Brooke Lores Education Hub, renowned for academic excellence, innovation, and character-based learning. In 2023, she launched the Teachers Club, a platform designed to equip educators with 21st century skills, global best practices, and strong professional ethics. Barrister Ugo Ferdinand sits on the board of trustees of several educational institutions, including Elizabeth Memorial College of Education, Ugo Ferdinand Foundation Education Center, Techville Academy, and Anastasia Schools. She holds an LLB from Igbinedion University, Okada, and a postgraduate diploma in education from Enugu State College of Education Technical. She currently serves as head of chambers at Ferdinand's Attorneys, supervising counsel at the Enugu State Ministry of Justice, and a mediator at the Enugu State Multi-Door Court House. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let us make welcome Barrister Empress Ugo Ferdinand. Please give her a big hand.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody, or good morning, everybody. My slides ready. I sincerely want to appreciate the convener of this wonderful program, of this transformative summit, who doubles as the founder of the Duke Infant and Child Foundation. Please, can we put a round of applause for her? I will be speaking to us today from different platforms. I'll be speaking to us as a lawyer, as a community leader, as a pastor, and also an educator. Looking at our caption, Train the Trainers Summit, something comes to my mind, and that's a popular Latin maxim which says, Nemo dat non quod habet. I will explain. It simply means you can't give what you don't have. I'm sure I've spoken in simple terms now. So you can't give what you don't have. And I'm sure that's why we are all seated here today to learn from industry experts how we should train our children. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be speaking to us from different platforms, and I'll tell us a story about what happened to me or what I observed as a community leader. A few months ago, we took the position of local government chairman. Of course, my husband is a local government chairman, so I double as the first lady of the local government. So, of course, you know what politics looks like, right? Of course, we know what politics looks like. I would like to have an interactive session. Thank you. Yes, please. So everybody expects that it's business as usual, right? Maybe the money laundering, the lies, and all that, and all that, and all that. But guess what? Something changed. Immediately we stepped into office, everybody was just observing. Do you know what they were observing? What kind of leader do we have now? They were observing. What kind of leader do we have now? Is he a truthful person? Is he someone that will cut corners? Of course, you know, once you start cutting corners, every other person, you know, below the ladder will start cutting corners, right? So over time, they realized he is a man of integrity. And you often hear them say, before I act, I'll first of all think what Barrister Ugo Ferdinand would say. Do you understand? I'll first of all do what? Think about what the leader would say. That goes a long way to show you that, you know, our world today is filled with a lot of noise, digital distraction, shortcuts, and conflicting values. In such a world, character becomes our most valuable compass that guides our decisions, that shapes our conduct, and also helps us to stand firm even when no other person is watching. Our character helps us to do what? Stand firm even when no other person is watching. In the course of my speaking, I will also explain most of these core concepts that That's character, value, and vices. Like I mentioned earlier, we've heard people say, you need to have so and so value. You need to have so and so value. And then you ask yourself, okay, so if I'm supposed to imbibe the value of integrity, how am I supposed to do that? Will I just wake up and then become a person of integrity? We lack, the knowledge of how do we exude these values? How do we exude these values? Before I continue, I want us to say to each other, I am an agent of value transformation. So I want to bring it down to us. Can we repeat it? I am an agent of value transformation. When we speak, we send the message. When we speak to ourselves, we send the message what? Home. Because as I'm speaking, maybe we're thinking the people we're talking about are some people that are out there. Or maybe the leaders in our schools alone, right? So I want us to send the message on, and we're going to say again, I am an agent of value transformation. Beautiful. Okay, so I'll be talking about character as one of the core concepts we'll be discussing today. Character. When we hear character, what comes to our mind? Is it our personality? Is it our personality? The answer is no. The answer is no. You can have a very calm personality, but you're a very wicked person. Hope you all know. You can have an innocent personality. You can be an introvert, and then you're rude. You can be an introvert, and then you're rude. So our personality does not define what? Our character. We see character in display when we exude those qualities, those innate qualities we have built what? Over time. Our character shows in what? In our action, in the way we talk, in the way we relate with people. I'm sure most of us don't know me, right? But from the few things I've said, or maybe the way I've acted this morning, you say, I think this person is like this, right? I think this person is like that. So your personality can be very deceitful when it comes to character. When circumstances hit you, when the vagaries of life sweep you off your feet, what do you display? That's your character. So today I want us to send this message home that our character is different from what? Our personality. It's your moral and ethical constitution. What are the morals you hold tenaciously to yourself? What are the morals you hold tenaciously to yourself? I will repeat. Our character is our moral and ethical what? Constitution. It determines how you act, especially when no one else is watching. It's very easy to pretend. Very, very easy to pretend. But today, you will get to know that those actions you display when nobody is what? Watching. That's what makes up your what? Your character. Character is built and not born. Okay, have you had these instances or this instance or this scenario play out? Maybe a child is troublesome, or maybe a child doesn't have respect. And then you hear the parents say, she behaves like the mother. Let me speak in Igbo language. She behaves like the father. Have we heard that before? Have we heard that before? But let me tell you the truth today. Character is not born, it is what? Built. If you see a child displaying a character that is not what you should do is to call the child and then retrace the steps. Attributing the child's character to the personality of the parent or the personality of the mother or the personality of the father does not make sense. And then most of us are used to saying that. Even as a teacher, a child just behaves somehow in class. Say, that's how the mother behaves. Most of us have made that conclusion before. Can we be very sincere? Can we be sincere this morning? She behaves like the mother. But today, we're learning that character is what? Is built. It is not what? Born. So please don't judge any child. Don't judge any child. Every child came into this world as a what? A clean slate. And they should be treated that way. Any child, any young adult, any teenager handed over to you, please treat the person as a different entity. Don't make references to their family background. Don't make references to their parents. Don't make references to the school that they are coming from. Please treat that child like what? A separate entity. Okay, so we move over to values. Please, I don't know how many minutes I have to speak. Can I get my time, please? I can't hear you from afar, please. Okay, so we move over to values. Values are the deeply held principles and standards that guide our choices, actions, and behavior. Values are the deeply held principles and standards that guide our choices, actions, and behavior. I'll just list just a few. We have integrity, doing the right thing, like I mentioned, even when no other person is what? Is looking. Assuming you come into an exam hall, and then there is no teacher there, and then you have your textbook in front of you, and you're finding it very difficult to go through a particular question. What will you do? Will you join the crowd? Or will you stand your ground to say, no, I'm a person of integrity. I will not be associated with exam malpractice. Or let me bring it down to us because it looks like I'm referring to the children. When other teachers in the school are, maybe sowing seed of discord, will you stand your ground? Or will you say, oh, I don't want to be left out? When situations and circumstances of life hit us, what do we do? Okay, honesty simply means telling the truth and being trustworthy. Responsibility, perseverance, not giving up at the face of challenges. And I will ask us a question now. Just very quickly, turn to your neighbor. Tell them tell him or her one value you hold tenaciously and why. My mic might come to you. Okay.
Honesty. Why? Because for me, it's about you completely. If you're honest, it tells me much about you.
Beautiful. I think that value, honesty, is all encompassing. It's all encompassing. It applies to every single thing. Even in studying your book, if you're honest to yourself, sometimes you can tell your mommy, I studied when you did not study, right? So I think it's all encompassing. It cuts across all the values we have. So I won't keep the list flowing. I'll move over to the next concept, which is vices. Vices are values in discussion. We can as well say that vices are the opposite of values. Okay? Nature abhors vacuum. Vices are the opposite of values. Can the slide move, please? Vices are the opposite of values. Okay. Pride, for instance, which is a vice, is simply the state of or the absence of what? Humility or self-respect without humility. Someone can have self-respect and you don't know when it turns to pride. Hope we know, right? Someone can have self-respect and you don't know when it will metamorphose into what? Pride. I'll give us an instance. I have young people around me, like I mentioned earlier. So, we're in the process of character formation. And I notice most times, somebody else will do something and she will just say, I'm the one. So one of the days, I observed and I noticed this particular thing. She wasn't the one that did it. So I called her. I said, why did you own up when you weren't the one? She said, I just wanted peace to reign. I said, no, you don't do that. Then we started walking. I said, you need to differentiate between humility and being very assertive. You need to differentiate between what? Humility and then being what? Very assertive. Some people want to be humble, and at the end of the day, they become what? Timid. That's why I mentioned earlier that values are what? Built. They are built what? Intentionally. They are built what? Intentionally. And if we must build values in our children, we must look out for, the minutest of things. We should be very what? Intentional. Okay, I'll move over to the next one, which is greed. Simply means prudence without generosity. You can become prudent and then you forget that you're supposed to be generous. The next one is wrath. Justice without mercy. And the list goes on and on and on. Can the slide move, please? Okay, why character matters? Why character matters? You know, if everybody in this hall is wicked, this hall will not be conducive for people to, you know, to be seated here, right? Assuming I walk into the hall and then from the door, people are saying, who is this person? Please come. Please, who are you? Come here. You know, very hostile. We'll not be able to be seated here, right? So imagine a community with people without value. You can imagine how that community will look like. You can imagine a community with people or a family with people without what? Empathy. You can imagine an organization with people without what? Integrity. You can imagine how that organization will look like. So values or building value is in the core of what? Are building our society. For instance, I know we might have people who admire in life. We might have people who admire in life. And we add, vices and values sum up to, molding a person's character. Hope we all know. Vices and values, like I mentioned, nature abhors vacuum. Vices and values sum up to one's what? Character. Is it that you're honest or you're dishonest? Is that you're a person of integrity or you're not a person of what? Integrity. Okay, how are values formed? How are values formed? Number one on my list is modeling, like I explained earlier, from authority figures. Have you ever noticed in a church where a pastor carries jerry coil and every member wants to carry jerry coil? Or where a pastor prays in a certain way and when the members step up to the stage, they want to pray in that kind of way. Do you know what is happening? It's modeling. It even happens in our classrooms. When a teacher walks in some kind of way, you see the children trying to do the same thing. And I bet you, if you're a dirty teacher, your students will be dirty. If you're a lazy teacher, what? Your students will be what? Lazy. If you're the type that gives assignment and then you don't check up on the student, you don't mark it, you won't be able to build character. I'll just give us a very simple scenario. You're a teacher in a class, you give assignments every day, and deep down within you, you're building children with great what? Value. You give assignments every day and you don't even ask after it. You're not intentional about it. And then day one passes, day two passes. The next day, do you know what the child will say, or the child in that class will say? My teacher will not mark it. Hope we all know. They'll just say what? My teacher will not do what? Mark it. So in building character, in value formation, we have to be what? Intentional. We have to be what? Consistent. If you just make a mistake by the wayside, you've lost it. Because we're doing what? We're modeling the right what? Values. Okay, the next on my list is personal grooming. Personal grooming. Like we mentioned, you're not born with values. You take a decision to build yourself. Okay? You take a decision to build yourself. Assuming you want to stop procrastinating, you take a decision to do what? To do that. You set your alarm, you write down your to-do list, and then you make sure you're flowing with it. So it's a thing of what? Personal decision. It's a personal grooming. So building values is not a rocket science. Okay, another one is self-evaluation. You know, some people lie to themselves, telling yourself the truth. If you're a liar, tell yourself the truth. I lie too much, and I want to build on it. If you don't have empathy, do what? Tell yourself the truth. It's at that point when you tell yourself the truth that then the building what? Starts. If you don't tell yourself the truth, you just be wallowing in deceit. Okay, so tell yourself the truth so you can start doing what? Working on it. You can even seek for help. Oh, I'm always late for meetings. How do I work on it? Oh, I know you for excellence. How do I build on it? Is that clear? Okay. Daily habits. Daily habits. And I will add consistent daily what? Habits. There's this saying that goes that a little drop of water makes what? A mighty ocean. Just keep doing it. just keep doing it. If, for most of those values I mentioned, if you don't have it as a leader, start today to start what? To start building. Start today to start what? To start building. Immediately we leave this hall, let's start building. It's not too late. And be consistent with it. Do it every hour, do it every day, do it every week, do it every month. And before you know it, it does what? It becomes part of you. Okay. Values are also formed in our environment. Home, school, community, and the list goes on. For instance, did you know that there are some schools that don't have values? There are some schools that don't even have what? Values. Anything goes. So if you put your child in a school without values, what do you expect? Is it just academic excellence? Because as parents that are seated here, before you put your child in any school, please, apart from the academic record, find out the values that they uphold. Okay? Before you groom your child in the house and then in school, the things that they are taught, contradicts with the values that you teach. Okay, another agent of value formation is the home. Is the home. You can't be that mother that when your husband comes in, like, put up the television, put on NTA, and then tomorrow you come back and ask your child, why are you lying to me? Some of us are guilty of that. Whatever you display, they are what? They are emulating. Of course, the Bible talks about beholding unto you what? You become. They listen more to the one we do than the one we what? We say. There is strength in what? In beholding. Another agent of value formation is peer influence. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of social media distraction, a lot of things that are going on. You might, at some point, some youth, some adults, maybe some of them that have decided to be good, at some point will ask themselves, what's the need? What's the need? I've been good all the while, but my friend that is a bad girl has gotten a job. Some people have come to that crossroad. What's the need? Why should I even continue doing this? So and so person did this and she's successful. Okay? So peer pressure also forms, part of our character formation. How our vice is groomed. How our vice is groomed. Poor upbringing. Poor upbringing. The child keeps learning. The child keeps emulating. And then at the end of the day, the child is formed. And you start asking yourself, how did this child grow up to be an unserious child or somebody without zeal? It was built what? Over time. Emotionally unstable role models. Emotionally unstable role models. There are some parents that don't know how to manage their emotions. You come back from work, you're so tired, or something got you overwhelmed during the day, and then your child is talking to you. Before your child even talks to you, you've responded with a back. You just back at your child. And then tomorrow you tell the child, you don't have patience. You don't have patience. You're not patient with your brother, but it started with you. It started with you. So emotionally unstable leaders raise emotionally unstable what? Children. Some people also face rejection and lack of love. Some people face what? Rejection and lack of love. This plays out in our families every day. Some parents have favorites amongst their children. All of these things build the character of your child. You like Ada more than Obi, maybe because Ada is good with her academics. You now decide, or every time you be telling Obi, you're good for nothing. You're good for nothing. Just be rest assured that you're molding that child. And at the end of the day, results will be called. Okay, I've mentioned life pressures. Sometimes life pressures make us to cut corners. Okay, I've also mentioned, outdated modes of upbringing. Outdated modes of upbringing. Some people say, this is how my parents did it. This is how my mother did it. Okay? Okay, blame shifting. I've mentioned it before. She's behaving like the mother. Instead of tackling whatever vice you've seen displayed in a child, you keep shifting blames. I want us to look at a biblical anchor which says, train up a child the way he should go, and when he grows up, he will not depart from it. I'll look at the first word there, train. Train. When they say train, training requires what? manuals, right? Training requires what? Instructions. And as you train, you have conversation, like I did earlier. You ask questions. You communicate. Train. If you're training a child, give room for what? Communication. If you're training a child, don't tell a child that I need you to perform excellently in your academics. Have you sat down to draft a routine with that child? It's unfortunate I have to move very fast. So I want us to look at that scripture very well. Train up a child. What does it take to train? What does it take to train? That child you want to build a very wonderful character in. Have you made out time to train that child? You don't train when you're absent. You don't train maybe after 1 month and then you decide to come back to the drawing board. No. You become very consistent with it. So I'm going to share a few nuggets with us. Values are caught more than taught. I've mentioned that before. Character is built daily. Every environment speaks. If you find yourself in a hostile environment, be rest assured that you are absorbing. You are absorbing. Repetition forms reputation. Sorry, I'm running. A value not lived is not learned. So when you don't display, you have not learned anything. If when situations happen and then you act differently, you have not learned. Classroom culture reflects values. For the teachers seated here, classroom culture reflects what? Values. I've mentioned that before. The home is the first school. So please don't delegate parenting to anybody. The home is what? The first school. Don't just raise good children. Don't just raise good children, not just smart children. In other words, raise children that are morally sound and not just children that are smart. Work the values you teach. Don't teach A and do B. True education builds character and competence. Clear values is decision. Value formation starts with you. Can we all repeat it? Value formation starts with what? Me. Personalize it. Value formation does what? Starts with me. Teaching value is a lifestyle. So don't act like this and then teach the other way around. Reward what you want repeated. At least we should have value advocates in school rewarded. We should have value advocates in school rewarded. Don't just reward academic excellence. Reward them so that others will also be encouraged to imbibe such what? Values. Discipline without values. Okay, discipline with value is training. Okay, so in conclusion, I would like to say to us that everyone seated here today is an agent of what? Value transformation. Don't count yourself out. Don't count yourself out. And if we desire a better society, we must intentionally build character by starting with ourselves. Once again, I'm glad to be here, and thank you very much for having me.
Wow, wow, wow. Can we give her a big hand? All right, there's a way we do it, right? Roll. You're not rolling. Let's do it well enough. 1 to go. I mean, if you got something from her. Now, we'd like for you to please write down your questions. We're going to take them at the right time. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this is still the Train the Trainer Summit 2026, and we are live in Abakaliki, Ebonyi State, and it's brought to you by the Duke's Infant and Child Foundation. And we have some special guests in our midst. Let me just use this opportunity to recognize them before we bring on the next speaker. We have Professor John Otu, lecturer at Alex Ekweme University, Ebonyi State. Let's give him a Train the Trainer Summit warm welcome. Also, we have Mr. Theophilus Nwoko, State Director, National Orientation Agency. Good to see you, sir. Thank you so much. Of course, thank you to Barrister Ugo Ferdinand Empress. Also in the house, we have Barrister Doris Chinedu Okoro. And we have David Folaranmi. Please give him a big hand. We have Chika Agu. And we have Jennifer Ekweme. But most especially, we've got you, so put your hands together for yourself. So at this time, we're really going to move with speed so we can cover a lot. We have so much to share with you. What we're going to do is ladies and gentlemen, like I said, write down the questions you have. If you have questions for the speaker that just spoke, just write it down and you can get it across to me. There'll be a time where we would have those questions asked and answers provided. So at this moment, I want us to make welcome our next speaker. She's dynamic, she's full of life, she's full of energy, and she's got the next 20 minutes to talk to you. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Lady Jennifer Ekuweme. Please give her a big hand.
Good afternoon, Ebonyi State. Good afternoon, Ebonyi State. Are we tired? We're just starting. Good afternoon, Ebonyi State. You know, if I were in class, I would say, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. We're educators, we're parents, so let's still say it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Okay, we seem to be happy. Good afternoon, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here. And I want to salute the facilitator of this summit. You know, after being in Anambra 2 days ago, I wondered to myself where they got the grace, where she got the grit to do this. Well done, ma. It's really no mean feat, you know, going from one state to the other. And I just want to promise you today, for everybody that comes here, have an open heart. You know, in Oka, I thought I went as a facilitator, but I came back loaded with so much. There is so much to learn, and I'm very thankful for this opportunity. So I'm stuck between wondering if I should use my slides or not, but let's just go ahead. The theme for this summit is very, very thought-provoking. And it says, empowering our next generation. Empowering our generation, next leaders, raising children to thrive and lead. Raising children to thrive and lead. And while I was thinking about the subtopic, which is raising children to thrive and lead, I was now asking myself, if children are going to be raised, it can't be a passive thing. Raising children. So this raising children means they are human beings that will do the work, true or false. You know, when we hear train up a child in the way he should go, you know, raise your children in the way of the Lord, there is a difference. Let me give us an analogy. How many of us have ever worked on a farm before? Yeah, I didn't say if you're a farmer now. But if you're a farmer now, you're a big boy, a big girl. If you've ever worked on a farm before, you would notice that when you plant seeds, when you plant your crops, if you don't take time to water them, if you don't take time to tend to them, what will happen? They will wither, right? But when you go there, there are some other plants that grow too, that you want to go and remove. What are they called? Weeds, right? Does anybody pay attention to the weeds? Nobody really pays attention to the weeds. If there's anything we want to do to the weeds is to uproot them. But you know the truth is that if you want your crops to grow, there is active work that is involved. It is only weeds that nobody pays attention to. And the thing about weeds is when they are growing, sometimes you see them very colorful. You see them develop flowers and all of that, right? But nobody has need for it. Nobody ever goes to the farm and says they want to harvest weed. What happens to the weeds after time? They die off, we burn them, and we throw them away. That is how children that are not raised will amount to nothing. And raising is work. When you see yam, you know yam, when yam is growing, okay, let me use ugu, because we used to have ugu then growing up. When ugu is growing up, is growing, if you don't put sticks, even yams, if you don't put sticks, right, what will happen? Will it grow well? And to put sticks, you need to show up. You will come, you put it, you bend it this way today, tomorrow you bend it. Can an absent farmer really grow yam or ugu? If you're absent, you really can't do it. So to be able to actively raise this generation of children, we have to be present. So the big question now is, where are the parents? My topic today is parents, where are you? You know what is going on now? The weeds are growing. The weeds are growing. The weeds are even choking the plants we think we are planting. The weeds are growing and we are doing nothing about it. We are moving every responsibility to the school. We want the school to do the work. Somebody will say, someone told me that she doesn't bother going to church because she sent her child to my school, and my school is a Christian school. So, just do the work of the school and the church. Some people will now tell you, oh, I need to take my child to every service in church. When I take them to church, then I've done a good job. Then I'm raising my child well. See, the truth is, no matter which church you take your child to or which school you take your child to, and you don't do the job at home, you are not doing a good job. The beginning of parenting, the beginning of raising children starts at home. It is our responsibility. And God trusted parents enough to raise these children. That's why he gave them to you. But in a case where parents have failed, what do we do? As trainers, this is Train the Trainer Summit, right? So if a few of us are here in our capacity as parents, a few of us are here as teachers, and you will agree with me that a lot of the troublesome children in school, a lot of the children that make you feel like pulling your hair at home, at school, are children that are not properly raised at home, true or false. We see it almost every day. So the question now is, what happened to the parents? Because nobody ever raised their children and said, I won't be a good parent. What happened to the parents? What happened to the parents? At the beginning of the parenting journey, parents are usually very excited. I remember before I had my children, when we just got married, my husband and I said, that we were going to be very intentional. We're making sure our children learn to speak Igbo first before they learned English. We were very sure that was what we were going to do. And along the line, one day, we now told ourselves, Biakwao, these children are already speaking Supre. Did we have good intentions? Yes. What happened? We got distracted. We forgot the main thing that we said, and it is true. Parents get distracted. But the prayer is that we don't get distracted in what really matters. Right now, everybody is hustling. Daddy is hustling. Mommy is hustling. Everybody wants to make ends meet, right? As we are hustling, something is suffering. What is suffering? The children are suffering. So we've now delegated our responsibility to the school and expect the school to do magic. We expect the church to do magic. We expect everybody else to do magic. And we, the main custodians of the children, don't want to do so much. We will be fooling ourselves if we want everybody else to work on raising our children and we don't do the job. But we are distracted. Hustle culture has eaten deep into our society. The question parents should ask ourselves is, when should we stop? The Bible tells us that there is a time for everything. There is a time to sit down and raise your children. And there is also a time when they are out, you can now hustle for as long as you want to. One of my mentors will always tell me that when you're raising your children, it's from when they are young till they get into secondary school. When they get into secondary school, it's your report card that they'll now be calling. And how unfortunate it is for a lot of parents when they should be doing the work of putting the values and raising the children. They are busy hustling. I will always say that it's such an eyesore to see parents in their old age, when you should be retiring, when you should be resting, you're carrying a 35-year-old man and a 40-year-old man and providing for him when it's not God's plan for you. It cannot be God's plan for anybody. But you see, if we don't do the work now, that hustle you want to hustle, when you are done hustling, they will carry everything you hustled for and sell. Or you would spend everything you hustled for to take care of the child that you did the hustling for, and at the end of the day, it's a lose-lose situation, not even a win-win situation right now. So what else has happened to parents? We talked about the hustle culture. The second thing that has happened to parents is that a lot of parents are distracted. We are distracted by too many things. And one of our greatest problems is this thing called the mobile phone. True or false? True or false? When you're scrolling your phone, you don't want the child to come around you. And when the child comes around, you're hushing them. Hush! Leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone. Go to bed, go to bed, go to bed. So you will press your phone. Whether we like it or not, it is taking a whole lot away from our parenting. Parenting is not passive. To be able to be an active parent, you need to have time. Say, time is the currency of parenting. Let's say it together. Time is the currency of parenting. You cannot raise a child you do not have time for. You cannot raise a child you do not have time for. So what now happens when these children are now moved to us in school as educators and as trainers? We are frustrated. We are frustrated. The children are frustrated. You're frustrated because the parents didn't do their work at home. And you can now ask me, what can I do as a trainer? What can I do as an educator? What can I do as a parent? The first thing we can do as parents is to call ourselves for a meeting. Like, call yourself and say, okay, let's have a conversation. What is going on? What is distracting me? As a parent, what is distracting me? What is taking my time away from my children? What can I do better? Ask yourself if you've really had a conversation with that child and tell yourself, I will make sure I have at least 10 minutes of conversation. Because what a lot of parents do is that we spend time talking at the children, giving instructions, telling them what to do. And we never spend time to ask them, how are you? How was your day? I want you to do this. I want you to do this. You know, sometimes when they ask you questions, throw the question back to them. Let them know that you value their opinion. They will feel seen. Over this holiday, there was something my husband was doing, and my older son came to help him and had a conversation with him. And then he now came and told me, Mommy, do you know I felt very important? I gave Daddy a suggestion about his business, and he really took it. He said it was a good idea. Whether Daddy will implement that idea or not, he doesn't know. But the fact that you paid attention and made that child feel seen, you are building their confidence. We want to raise leaders. We cannot raise leaders that are not confident. We can't raise leaders when the children don't know who they are. And your children know who they are from who you tell them they are, from the way you see them. If you're that parent that is always backing at the child, there is nothing they ever do that is right. The only time you notice them is when they do something wrong. You now begin to call them. Every time they are doing the right thing, no, you don't notice them, you don't see them. You're waiting for them to fall. What you're telling that child is, you are trouble. You are giving me trouble. It is only where there's trouble I see you. And that is shaping them. You cannot raise leaders like that. As educators, what do we do? As trainers, how do we help the parents? How do we help the parents? Because the parents need help. For every school leader here, I want to encourage you. Begin to call your parents to have conversations. Call them. Sometimes they don't even know what to do. We've had a case before where a parent was always giving her child rice for lunch. Rice. Monday rice, Tuesday rice, Wednesday rice, Thursday rice, Friday rice. See their children. See their children. Beyond their grades, beyond what they do and they do not do, see the child. Our children are not performance monkeys that it's only when they do well we clap for them. You know, some of us are like that. It's only when their results are good, you now say, good boy, give me a handshake. Now you're my son. Then when the results are not good, I don't even know who gave birth to you. Your name, Mole. You know, because the results are not good. the child begins to feel like my worth is derived from how well I do or how bad I do. And you don't want to raise children like that. You cannot raise leaders like that. You cannot raise leaders that are going around looking for affirmation. If you don't tell your child you are, nobody will tell them thou art. If you don't tell your child you are, nobody will tell them thou art. Let that sink in. As trainers, when those children have come to us in the class, you know, whether we like it or not, in 21st century, teachers have assumed the roles of parents. The parents are absent, the parents are distracted, the parents are hustling. How do we help this child? Because the goal now is not to become the parent. What we are looking at is that we are trying to raise children who thrive and lead. So they've come to you, they spend time in your class. We must realize that as trainers, as teachers, we are a voice in the lives of these children. A child cannot finish dealing with rejection at home, dealing with being spoken down of at home, and then they come to school and the cycle continues. They come to school and you don't see them. The truth is that a lot of children have been changed and been transformed just by a teacher that sees them, that is able to ask them, how are you today? That is able to ask them, they notice that their mood has changed, and you're able to ask them, what is going on today? You're able to see them beyond what they do in class and what they don't do. And you are actually seeing them and asking, how are you? Sometimes it's just the routine of give that helps them relax and open up to you in class. And when they open up to you in class, what do? Do you mock their pain? Do you look down on their struggles and tell them, is it because of this small thing you're looking sad? We have a huge responsibility, because whether we like it or not, we will give account to God of every child that we have come in contact with. So when you want to discipline in what we call discipline, or you want to use those harsh words on the child, ask yourself, am I empowering this child to thrive and lead? Or am I disempowering this child? Because so many times as educators, we have broken children down. We have torn them down with their mouth. We have made them not believe in themselves at all because of the things we have said to them with our mouths. So they deal with it at home. They come to school, they deal with it. It is our responsibility now to go beyond telling the parents, to now telling the children how much we believe in them. Because the truth is that many children will rise and fall on the expectations of the teachers. If you don't believe in the child, many times the child will not do well. If you don't believe the child will do well, many times the child will not do well. So that's why I often tell teachers, don't bother about asking the teacher in the previous class how the child did. Assess the child by yourself. Know the child by yourself. Discover what the child's strengths are. Because many times when they give you that information, you come with a preconceived notion that, oh, this child is troublesome, this child can never amount to anything, and then you treat that child the same way. But we have a responsibility to see these children as God sees them. We have a responsibility to make sure that everything we are doing for the children is making sure that we are raising children who will thrive and who will lead. And children will not thrive. Children would not thrive and they would not lead if there is no one that believed in them. The parents are absent, but the educators are present. And the educators must step into that role as parents. We must see that our calling has shifted, not just to be educators, but we have stepped into the role as parents. And we must treat it as a high calling. And somebody will now ask, okay, I already have my own peculiarities. I already have my own issues. And you want me to come and carry this one to add to it. How will I do it? See it as work. It is not added work. It is the main work. Because if you don't affect the heart of the child, you can't quite do much with their head. And it is easier to affect the head when you've affected the heart. It is much easier to affect the head of a child when you've affected the heart of a child. So today, I want to charge us as trainers, as educators, to remind the parents of what their roles are. The children are looking for them. We are looking for them in school. Even the churches are looking for them. Parents, where are you? So if you're a parent here, answer. Parent, where are you? Are you here? Are you present? Are you active? Do you see the children? Do the children see you? Then our job is done. Please put your hands together for yourselves. Thank you very much.
All right, let's give her another round.
Foundation, advocating for children's brighter
Okay,
future.
hold on. We're not going to roll this time. We're going to clap 10 times and we'll push it all to her. 1 to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Thank you.
The Duke's Infant and Child Foundation, advocating for children's brighter future.
All right, shine the light. Have you forgotten? We are not stopping. We're going to shine this light till we leave this place, and you carry the lights to your respective homes and shine it to the kids, to the children. Shine the light. Shine the light. Shine the light. That's more like it. Okay, don't worry. We'll touch another time. Thank you. All right, so we're moving on to the next speaker. I believe multimedia, they have it all sorted out. Let's go.
Barrister Doris Chinedu Okoro is an exceptional force in education, law, and social impact, an enigma whose work continues to shape systems, minds, and futures. She is the founder of Evergreen Foundation and Evergreen Schools, institutions driven by a deep commitment to access, excellence, and inclusive learning for every child. Barrister Doris is the convener of the Southeast Educators Conference, SEC, a flagship regional platform that convenes school owners, educators, policymakers, and stakeholders to reimagine education, strengthen capacity, and build sustainable school systems across the region. Through SEC, she has influenced policy conversations, professional development, and collaborative reform within the education ecosystem. An author, mentor, and coach, she is widely respected for her ability to inspire clarity, courage, and action in educators and leaders. Her passion for STEM education is evident in her advocacy for early exposure, innovation, and problem-solving skills that prepare learners for a rapidly changing world. She is also an award-winning champion of inclusive education, recognized for her tireless work in ensuring that children of all abilities are seen, supported, and empowered to thrive. Barrister Doris is driven by a relentless pursuit of continuous impact. Her leadership blends intellectual rigor with compassion, strategy, and service. At the Train the Trainer Summit, she brings a powerful voice of experience, advocacy, and action, challenging educators and leaders to teach with purpose, lead with courage, and build education systems that leave no child behind. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Barrister Doris Chinedu Okoro.
Good morning, Ebonyi. Please, you're going to manage my voice. I was so impacted in Anambra that I insisted I must be here. Because by yesterday, my voice was gone, and I was almost moved to call the organizers, please, I can't come today. But I started drinking all kinds of concoction. I will drink ginger, I will drink garlic, I will drink cinnamon, I will drink everything that will help me have small voice today. And I think my voice is a bit, it was so bad yesterday, and I didn't know what happened. So I'm excited to be here again. Just like when Jennifer was speaking, she said, honestly, we went to Anambra with mixed feelings. We went to Anambra because Anambra was the first trendy trainer summit we attended. It had started before 2 days ago, but that was the first one. So we went apprehensive. We went asking what are we going to see and what will be happening. You know, But honestly, we left Anambra field. And I will shock you, this is my first time coming to Ebonyi State. I've never been to Ebonyi. And so it was like I was going to America this morning. I got ready as if I was going to America this years. Yeah. So when I was battling with headache yesterday and voice, I said it's a lie. Oh. I am going to Trendy Trainer Summit because it's indeed a movement. Not because I'm built to speak, but I was excited of the things I learned in Anambra. I remember when the organizers were calling us, oh, Enugu is tomorrow. Oh, make sure people come out. I lacked what to tell people. I lacked what to tell people. I didn't know what to say to anybody. But after Anambra, I now make bold to call my people and say, please, you can't miss this. Your teachers can't miss it. Thank God Enugu is on a Saturday, so we don't have any excuse. So tomorrow, I'm sure Enugu will be shaking. And I want to thank you, Ebonyi, for coming out today. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for I know that every trainer here, every trainer, and you know by trainer we mean every educator, every parent, every team coach, here, you're going to go back with tools. You know what I mean? We're going to go home with tools. And so on that note, I want to also appreciate the convener of this great movement. Thank you so much, man, for coming to be with us in Ebonyi today. Thank you. Because I said you would not come. But thank God you are here. And thank you for insisting on the movement. And for everyone that is planning this and organizing this with her, we appreciate you. Whether I would like it or not, it is one life at a time touched. I was touched, and I'm sure somebody, child, what is my duty in all this? So all the teachers in the house, all the educators in the house, I'm rooting for you. We are in the same shoes. We are looking for what is our job. After all these things are saying, the Jennifer asks the parents, where are they? Now, what is our job? What is our business where the parents are? If they anywhere they like, let them be. What is our business? Do you understand? What is our business where parents are? If they don't want to be anywhere, that is their business. But I believe God will show us our place in this whole movement by the time we finish today. So I want to say something. I say, when I was listening to Jennifer, I pictured a child sitting in a classroom, physically present, but emotionally checked out. The teacher teaching is skilled teacher. The lesson is strong, but the learning doesn't land. Why? Because learning doesn't start in classroom. It starts with connection at home and partnership in school. So that's where we find ourselves. So what I'm saying, by that little thing I read out now, it simply means that if Lady Jennifer cannot find parents, that means we have a big problem. I don't even understand what I mean. Did you listen to her? She was looking for parents. If she couldn't find parents, we have a big problem. Because they said that learning starts at home. So we need to make sure parents are seated on their chair, on their driver's chair driving, so that we'll be able to connect with them and deliver the lesson. Or else that child will come to school physically present but emotionally checked out. However skilled you want to be, however strong the lesson was, let lesson be, but that lesson will not plan because the child is not in class. I always have this thing, interestingly, I love to teach. That's my call. So when I enter classroom and I just sit in front of the classroom, I can tell the teacher, this child is not in this class. This child is not in the class. And teachers will wonder, how do you know that, Ms. Doris? I will tell them, once you see a child, you're teaching a child, and the child is giving you a gaze. You know this focused gaze? That child is not in class. The child is at home, watching cartoon or playing. Because what happens at the point the child is giving you that gaze is that the child has gone home to put on the cartoon. The child remembered the last episode. So the child had done the next episode, and the child is watching that next episode in class, looking through you. And then you are busy jumping up. And because the child is giving you that gaze, you are deceived with the gaze. If you can break the gaze and tell the child, so what did I say? I'm just giving an illustration. That illustration is the same thing I want to give to you when a child is not, when the parents do not do what they're supposed to do at home, the child comes to school emotionally checked out. So what I want to bring, because we do not have so much time, what I want to bring out this afternoon to give us a bit of clarity as trainers in classroom or in church anywhere is this. The question becomes, what do I do? As an educator now, the question we should be asking ourselves, what do I do? What do I do when this child comes to school without value? According to what Barrister Empress told us this morning, there are no values. What do I do when the child comes to school? Apparently, nothing happening in parenting. And whether you like it or not, that's why I said that this movement is so timely. Do you know why I say it's so timely? If you're an educator in this house, you notice that out of every 10 parents that come to your school, 3 or 4 are having marital problem right now as we speak. They are sending letter, don't allow this person to take my child. Don't allow this one. Are you not getting the letter? Driving from Enugu to Ebonyi, I got 2. 2 of them I gave to Lady Jennifer. Said, Jenny, read what I responded. One said, I am busy fighting insurgents in Sokoto, and my wife left me. Please, my children, they should not. That's what all you hear every day. Now, tell me, if you can, what is the fate of children raised in this kind of family? So, for Jennifer, who is looking for that parent that will be on the chair, there will be no parent sitting. No, I'm telling her, that's what she will know. There will be no parents anywhere sitting. Is it not when you're ready to parent, you can't take the child to parent? Do you know where parents are cohabiting, you know where there's 2 of them are in the family, but they are not together. You know, it affects children. No? They're not fighting, no. They're not fighting. Our children so thrive in love that they sense love 10 kilometers away. So you come in, everybody's pretending, hello, hi, hi. They know you are not in love. They know there is no connection. You don't need to fight. And it also affects them. So imagine that it affects that level. Imagine what is happening now. So that's why this movement is so timely. You know why it's timely? Educators, you are the only savior. You do get it now? You are the only savior. You are the only savior. Homes have failed. Family have failed. Now, they are not failing because they want to fail. They failed because it has failed. I don't know what you understand. So you are the only savior. If you are not careful, if you are not intentional, we will not train these children. The cycle goes on. And as the cycle is going on, Barrister Empress will keep preaching about vices because the vice will keep increasing. Because this thing is a cycle thing. That's why this is supposed to be a conversation for every day. See this movement, everyday conversation. Forget my slide. I don't think I did my slide because I've entered the spirit. Just like Empress said, she will be speaking from the altar. I'm speaking from the altar now. So I've entered that altar spirit. I needed to understand this thing so practically. The cycle goes on. So now, as an educator, the question is, what happened? I want to tell you that the home prepares the child for school. No child is prepared at school. That child they brought to your school at crèche must be prepared at home. That child they brought to your school as a preschooler, 1 year, 6 months, 2 years, must be home prepared. You don't have any job apart from teaching and enhancing something that's been put. You know what it means to enhance? So which means you're not the one that put it. But somebody has already put the value. You're the one saying, finding the value. You understand what I mean? That's why it beats me when a child comes across an adult and greets. And another adult will be like, which school are you? What is the business of school in greeting? Don't you notice that? What is the business of school in greeting? School do not have any business in greeting. The greeting culture is a parenting thing. It's a family thing. It's something already put in the child. It's something you started from when a child. This is our culture. We don't do hi. We don't do hi in this place. We say, Mommy, good morning, ma. We put it, ma. The ma will sound well. That's our own culture. And so that's what should be put in our home. And so when the children come to school, they don't even know when they talk to, oh, Miss Blossom, good morning, ma, because they are coming from home. Do you understand? So the duty of the educator is take off from the parents. I said this parent is a relay race. Parents will run first and give us the baton. So now we are saying that parents, we are looking for them. Whether they are here today to hear what the Jennifer said and begin to make amends, or maybe you take the information out there to talk to as many parents as you can talk to. But in the interim, when you're faced with that child who is coming from a place not prepared, what are you supposed to do? That's what you're going to go home to with today. What are you supposed to do as an educator? What are you going to, how are you going to be reacting to such situation? So you dwell now in your classroom as both a parent and a teacher, an educator. Whether it's in Sunday school, whether it's where you're coaching them as teenagers, whether it's in your classroom, you have a dual responsibility. One a parent and that one a teacher. No wonder I love when the Vice Empress talked about modeling. Modeling, that's the fastest way you can use to get these children back. You, as an educator, model exactly what you want the children to do. But I want to show you how to start seeing those signs to show that you need to do something fast. For example, a child who hasn't been grown at home to take responsibility will start having issues in your classroom. I want to expose these things to you so that you stop screaming at these children, feeling frustrated, feeling burnout and all. You now know the problem, and because you know the problem, it becomes easy for you to solve. Being responsible, taking responsibility is done at home. And I will tell you a few things that we see every day so you know how to handle them. Have you been faced with a parent calling you for a child who is maybe in grade 2, 3, even grade 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, or even secondary school? The parents will call you and tell you, oh, I'm not happy. I'm not happy with your school. I'm not happy with the teacher. What happened? My children came to school yesterday with a pencil and didn't come back with it. Have you ever had it? The failure, the parent failed and failed. They got scored 0 over 100. What is your business with a child that cannot keep his or her pencil? It's a home failure. It's a parenting failure. But now, because you already know this parent has failed, and you know the parents do not know he or she has failed. Do you understand? What do? You start coaching the parents. And you coach with love, but he doesn't know. Like how I handle them, I call them. Ma, I think a child who is 8 should be made to know that he or she is responsible for little things like your pencil. So when you finish writing, you keep your pencil in your bag. Because this child from a failed parent, once he or she hears that kind of shouting from the parent, doesn't care why he or she leaves his pencil anymore. What about that child in your class who cannot take simple instruction? Simple instruction. And I tell you the truth, most time when these children do not take that instruction, they do not take it because they want to be disobedient. They are not groomed to take instruction. Very simple. And most times we educators, because we don't know the problem, we tend to think, oh, this child is not intelligent. They might be super intelligent. But learning and teaching is just all about taking instruction. So a child not groomed to take instruction cannot pass. Look at the passage. Read through the passage and read carefully. Circle all the nouns and underline the verbs. The child looked through the passage and circle everything but noun and verb. Circle everything. The child knows noun and verb. Maybe what will now fail the child is the instruction he or she did not adhere to. And this instruction is because the child has not been groomed to take instruction and obey instructions. So what do you do in class? You now know you're not fighting academic performance. You're fighting obedience to instruction. If you have opportunity to talk to the parents, you know what to talk to the parents about. And then you begin to teach. So what am I trying to say? What your job in classroom these days is no longer about teaching just academic work. You are dual as a parent. So for that child who also struggling with instruction, you have to start giving the child instruction intentionally to groom the child to take instruction. Parents has failed in so many ways, but that's not my business. The general business. My business is what we have to do. What do we do? That failed. They have even outsourced their responsibility to us, two of us. They've outsourced their responsibility. A parent came to me the other day and said something to me. He said, please, the child is in grade 5. And they said the woman was looking for me. I was in class. That was this week. No, this week, yes. I was enjoying my lesson. They kept saying that the woman was still waiting. And I had to cut my class and went downstairs to see her, thinking it was something serious. You know what she came to tell me? Oh, the child in grade 5 is not respectful. And that she likes talking when adults are talking. That she jumped into, that she knows the cause. The cause is because that in her business, whenever she picks the child from school, she takes the child straight to her office. And in the office that there are adults. So the child has grown to talk with adults and all that. Please, what am I supposed to do? I looked at the woman. I told the woman, and she was looking at me as I was looking for something. I got out it. And this child is already grown to grade 5. And you just want me to start teaching. I told her, anyway, if anything happens in school and the child happens to do something I need to correct, I will. But I don't have the time to single out your child, to start now teaching your child. When adults are talking, don't talk. When adults are kidding. This to show you that they've outsourced their responsibility to us shamelessly. They didn't even do it with small shame. Shamelessly. They call you to that. So what now? The only thing you can do now is wear the cap. Wear the cap of a parent and wear that of an educator. Empathy has to take up the day. You now teach with empathy. You now teach knowing that we are raising the next generation to thrive and lead. Just have this at the back of your mind. It will help you do what you're supposed to do. It will reduce your stress because the frustration and stress and burnout you experience is in your ability to do a lot. But if you have the right mindset, you'll be able to do it and then tell yourself, I'm raising generation. That's what I'm doing. I'm raising generation. I'm interested in Generation Next. And because I'm interested, I will do all it takes. I don't mind being the parent. I don't mind being the teacher. Let me just keep striving. Do you understand? So at that point, that's what you have to do. Of course, like I said, we keep engaging the parents. You have to keep doing it. But as you're doing it, don't get discouraged. Because some of them will even come off with very nasty attitude towards it. Children these days are not raised to be hard workers anymore. Have you noticed that? No grit at all. No grit. I tell you the truth. We need to go back. I don't know how we're going to do it. I don't know how we're going to do it. You know when we are growing up, I don't know, some of us here, we are meant to do a lot of chores. At some point, to think your parents are not your real parents. Do you ever have that feeling? I felt that way. At some point, I felt that my mom wasn't my real mom. I even told her. I told her one day that, Mom, I'm not sure you're my mom. You know, when you wash clothes, sweep house, mop house, cook food, only you. These children are not, and those things we are building grit, we didn't know. It was building grit. We didn't know. Giving us that hard work experience. Children these days do not work hard. It's even worse for the so-called elitist parents. It's worse for them. Sometimes parents come to me. A particular time, a parent came to me and said, "Oh, Miss Doris, when are you vacating for long back?" She called several for that. And when I finally got time to talk with her, I now said, you've been asking me for this. Now that they're booking their ticket for their vacation. And she needs to know when is the date for vacation, so she know the date. I said, this vacation now, is it for everybody in your house? She said, yes. I said it in Igbo. I will say it in Igbo, maybe. I said, Monday past the Monday that I don't know I got vacation. I said, even those that will pass, because the result hasn't come out. You know? I said, those that will pass and those that will fail, everyone is going for vacation. I said, I thought you would wait for results to come out. You now those who qualify to fly abroad. So everybody in the house will go for vacation. And I said, look can't do that now. That's why they don't work hard. That's why they don't work hard. Parents will come and pick their children from school. You hear things like, Mom, can we go to Custom Ice Cream? Why are you going to Custom Ice Cream? Why? You just wake up in the morning and go to Custom. I thought these things were earned in the olden days. I thought you earn, if you, our parents will tell you that if you come first, you remember those days. Nobody earns anything. It comes today. And then they bring that character into the classroom. The I can have all things mentality. They don't need to work hard. They don't need to work hard. And you see it, a child who cannot push, and you're struggling with it, and it's making you, the teacher, burn out. Don't burn out anymore. Don't burn out. Have this mindset and raising generation. And once you have the mindset, you keep going. But you already know the problem and you know how to solve it. Most of the problems we are struggling with in classroom are not academic problems. Take that one home today. Please take it home. Start looking for the problem. Most of them are beyond academics. A child that cannot finish tasks. Every time, I don't know how to. Sometimes some of these things are better spoken in Igbo so we understand it. A child that cannot finish tasks, and you're struggling with that child. You always be the last person to finish in your class. As if you will ever finish at all. This child was not groomed to finish tasks. This child threw so much tantrum that everybody indulged the child. And the child is growing with it. So in your class again, the child has never seen tasks to be completed. Tasks are never meant to be completed. Start when you're tired, drop your pen. So you're faced with this child and it's stressing you out. My dear educator, don't be stressed out. Work with this child with all your heart. At the back of your mind, tell yourself, I'm raising with the next generation. Have conversation with the parents if they are willing to listen to you. So that the parents can also start giving tasks at home and monitoring tasks to be completed. I tell you the truth, and I tell parents, see any great school, parents make great school, not teachers. You agree with me? Are you sure you understand? Parents make great school, not teachers. Imagine a school where these parents are doing what they're supposed to do, and then they come into your school, they listen to you, you give them direction, they listen, they collaborate with you. When you're punishing at home, you're punishing, they are enforcing punishment at home. Children are conformed, and they learn. But I tell you the truth, character is important for academic performance. Do you agree with me? Character is important. How do you see any rash child perform well in school? How do you see any badly behaved child? Go to your school and look at it. Go to your Sunday school, look at it. So you see that all these things that are, when they give us this baton, we don't throw the baton away. We keep molding. We keep molding. In this summit, we are meant to know that we are training, we are being trained to be able to train the next generation next. Do you understand that? The exposure you are getting is to open your eyes to see where you fit in this whole race to train the next generation next. Where do you fit in, educators? You're fitting in a position where you wear the educator's hat and whose hat? Parents' hat. You have to do both. The thing you're struggling with in class is not academic performance, it's character problem. It's character problem. It's value problem. I once picked up my cane to flog a child. I believe in cane so much. So I picked up my to flog a child. And before I could give the first stroke, I said, I will give you these strokes and I will call your dad. You know what the boy said? Call my dad. I dropped my cane. I washed my hand like Pontius Pilate and I went back to my chair. You want me to call your dad? Oh, so why am I trying to stress myself? I don't know what you understand. So what it means is that this child knows that the dad will not do anything. So why am I crying more than the bereaved? I told myself, guys, I said, okay, go back to your class. I didn't do anything again. Because the simple thing, like when we're growing up, they tell you they want to call your parents. Hey, Jesus have mercy. Your parents. It's better you give me all the grass in the school to cut. I will cut it for days. Don't call my parents. And the child tell you, call my dad. Why will you bother yourself? It was a source of worry to me. That's how bad these parents have failed. And that's the job we have saddled with now. We are saddled with not only to teach those academic subjects, we are now saddled with we have to do more. We have to find a way to put those subjects. We have to coin them into subjects. And no wonder a lot of schools are hammering moral character development. It's important. It's not supposed to be in the school scheme of work, but that's the truth. But now it has to be there heavily so, and you have to model it. If parents are not modeling, you have to model it. You have to model character. You have to show the children what to do and how to do it. But unfortunately, you still see educators in class who are modeling the wrong thing. Yes. You see educators in class modeling the wrong thing. You know, they know supervisor is coming. Like in our school, we've made children to be class prefects and we give them books. Please, can I have that one on? I'm really hot. So we made children to be prefects of to sign attendance. And you come to class, you see a particular place not signed or something not filled, and the teacher will be, but I was in class. I charged, no, Mr. Sansi, you were not in class. Very shameful. And I say, even in school, sir, we are now failing them. Because when we talk about modeling, this is what it means. How will the children now begin to induct you in front of your supervisor because you want to cut corner? You didn't do what you're supposed to do, and you want to make the children to lie. When this kind of incident show themselves up in your school, remember you're wearing the hat of getting a parent. You're modeling, you're leading, you're teaching, all at the same time. So I want to charge you. There was something that Jennifer said about pay attention to their faces. We just said something, out of every 10 families in your school now, 2 or 3 are going through marital crisis. Children are affected. They're affected. So when they come to class, look at their face properly. One day I was taking a walk with my husband, and there was this particular small young boy, very handsome boy, that walks to school from around our area to the school very close. And this boy will always see my husband and they will greet, they will jam hand and all that. That particular day, the boy was coming down the hill with one gloomy face like that. My husband was smiling up, but the boy wasn't smiling. And when he got to the boy, he brought out his hand. The boy jammed me, but wasn't smiling. The teacher and me arose. I said, no, something is wrong with the boy. I called the boy. The boy is not my friend, my husband's friend. I called the boy, will be like maybe 13 years. I called the boy back. I said, come, what's wrong with you? Where is your smile? As soon as I started, that boy broke down and started weeping. What happened? My mommy said if I can get up early and get ready for school, she would drop me. I now got early and finished everything. She didn't drop me. Huh? You know what I did? I looked for the mom's number at that moment. Because being a teacher, I know there will be no learning in school that day. And teacher will not know. Or teacher will be saying, I don't know what is wrong with you. You should be anything. You know that's what teacher will be doing. Paying attention. So I called the mother. I said, ma, I met your son.
Governor fixes a program from the government house, let's say for 9 in the morning. The governor has the manifest that he will be at the program for 9 o'clock. But by 9, you will see his protocol officers going to that venue and now calling the governor, don't come here to your excellency, nobody is there. Who I do expect to be there before the governor? I don't want to understand me. The protocol officers will take the phone and call the governor, your excellency, don't bother coming yet, nobody is there. But the governor fixed the program for 9. Why would he not be there? If the governor is there at 9 and do the program, next time others will want to come before him. So we must lead by example. The last speaker spoke about leading by example. We need to do that. Anyway, we have to get on other things. I want to introduce my former colleague who is also here, and a mother in Ebonyi State, a former commissioner for women affairs here, Honorable Mrs. Margaret Warrior. She's a professional nurse, professional this and that. Done so much midwife and all that. And of course, Noah, thank you for coming. It's good to see you since you took over from brother Abba, it's good to see you. Congratulations. Anyway, so I like this topic as I was invited to add my voice to this, and that I will do. I've just talked about values and character. The first person that spoke did so well, talked about character, molding, and other parts. And the other speakers also did well, but I want to harp on that first lecture because others built on it. When she started talking about character and other aspects of character, reputation, grooming, and the rest of them, I think it's important that we address such issues about scholarship. But I want to take us back a little to what happened. In the year 2007, I was invited as a guest speaker or a resource person at Oka in Anambra State by Ohaneze Ndibo. Then that outing was for the youth, for the Southeast youth, Igbo youth. And I was invited by a combination of now the late Professor Ben Obumselu, was my teacher, was highly regarded, and of course our dear brother, Engineer Sir Chris Okoye, who's the president of Fanyandibo. They asked me to come and talk to the youth. That was 2007 in Oka in Anambra State. And do you know the topic of that lecture? The topic is why Igbos abhor ritual killing. That's the topic I addressed in 2007. Why Igbos abhor ritual killing. Did you see the way the question, the title, or the topic is structured? It is not a question, do Igbos hate ritual killing? It is very clear. So it tells you, don't talk about ritual killing because Igbos abhor it. How many years now can we say the same thing of Alibo? Just 2007, the other day, I talked about how Igbos abhor, which means it's not in our character to indulge in ritual killing, to indulge in cutting corners and eating the fruit of fraud. How did it creep in our society today? 2-3 days ago, I got some posts on the WhatsApp platform from some of my brothers, ironically from Anambra State too. One from Engineer Chris Okoye as well, just 2-3 days ago, and it was about our schools. And ironically, it was schools in Ebonyi here that post was referring to. Schools in Ebonyi. He said there is this new drug that's coming, they're called Molly. I don't know how many of you saw that post. It's all over the place now. Okay? That in Ebonyi State, students of AE Funai and the EPSU are mainly guilty of this. They take these drugs. That the moment you take, especially by the female students, immediately you take these drugs, it's easy for you to maybe get into soporific state for medical doctors here, to be soporific, which means you become sleepy, that guys can sleep with you, have sex with you interminably without even your knowledge. They said when it started, they were paying 25,000 naira for it. But now, according to that post, in Abakaliki streets, it goes for as low as 2K, 2,000 naira. And the post says, if you are in doubt of what I'm saying, go to AE FETA, maybe teaching hospital here, go to their psychiatry unit, you will see a number of those girls who are behaving mad or acting mad because of those drugs. Children in universities who have gone to read, to learn. What does it tell you about our values? What does it tell you about our system? And then the following morning, I got another text. Ironically, from a brother from Anambra State too, Quarrison, Okechukwu Quarrison. I mentioned their names. What was that about? After I had got it, it became viral. Some young girls from across the Southeast were being recruited in a hostile form of trafficking, sex trafficking. A number from Ebonyi, some from Enugu, some from Abia. from the introductions. The girls introduced themselves. And they were just within the ages of 15, 16, 17. Maybe the oldest was 17 among the girls rather. And you needed to hear the story. That's why the lady who asked, where are the parents, did the right thing by asking that question. Chinua Achebe asked many years ago in his book, where are the young suckers that will take the place of the old parents when the parents talks? Whither? Where are they? That is the question we should be asking ourselves now. You know, these young girls left their homes without the knowledge of their parents. Somebody recruited them, they said they're going to make business, do business. Ironically, in Aguleri, Anambra here, they were lodged in a brothel, and men were coming to sleep with them to make money. The story was so nasty, so nauseating, that if you hear it, you feel like puking. I can tell you. One of the girls was so bold to say that even when you're in your period menses, they wouldn't mind. They will use cotton wool and put there. These are children just coming up. How are you going to talk about the future for these children? You have destroyed their psyche forever. They left schools and went there for this. So what we're saying is that we need to get back to where we started. The last lady that spoke talked about what used to be fashionable in their time, in my time, and what is fashionable now. And that is what brings me to what we should be considering today, even in pedagogy. Pedagogy has changed. Teachers know this. Pedagogy, pattern of teaching, methodologies have changed. It is not what it was 10 years ago that it should be now. It is not what it was 20 years ago. At the university, I tell them, in the past, a lecturer would come and speak like a bishop or a priest, which is what some of you have done here this morning. You come and talk and leave. That pattern is ossified, is outdated. No teacher should get to the classroom and speak like a priest anymore. The classroom now is an interactive arena, interactive forum. That is what the classroom is now. Because of the modern times. I quote the same Achebe. Achebe says, a man has to dance the dance prevalent in his age. Yes, in the past, we didn't have social media distractions. We didn't have artificial intelligence and other forms of this. So it was easier for you to be reined in by your parents. So somebody rightly said, there is no family in that old sense again now. How many of you eat with your children? How many? Have a dinner or breakfast with your children? It's not possible. Because everybody's glued to the handset. Even at the family dinner table, you see everybody bending double, scrolling, including the wife of the family, sometimes the man of the family, scrolling. How do you expect affection, fellow feeling in that circumstance? It's not possible. So the idea of the family has changed. Society is dynamic, and that is the way every other thing has changed along its dynamism. Note it. It's very important. So if you still regard the classroom as the old classroom you used to know, where you come and dictate notes to students, you have missed it. I tell my students, if it has to do with information, some of you are more abreast of information than your lecturers by way of your apps, internet. They can access these information at the tips of their fingers. They can. Even some of the information you may not have as a lecturer, a student who is from a good home and has a good set can access it. So now, teaching is not pouring of information on the students. It is now bringing up their critical faculties, creative imagination. We have left the first stage of learning by rote. That's what we all did in the past. A child can recite Shakespeare, can recite about, very intelligent child. That's what kept us where we are today. And that was the white man's system to defeat us academically. You know what? Achebe is very right. He said, the white man brought a knife and placed it on the things that held us together, and now things have fallen apart. You know something? They were very clever, as he said. They just brought themselves into Africa. They just needed you to help them as accessories to achieve what they wanted to do here. And that also determined the form of education they gave you. An education that was ancillary to the real education. They didn't emphasize creativity to you. They didn't emphasize thinking to you. They didn't emphasize questioning to you. You know what they emphasized? Instruction and obedience. He's the master. And unfortunately, we dragged it into the church. So the pastors took it from there and made the zombies of all of us today. This is the word of God. You must accept it. And you remain poor. Thank you very much. You remain poor. I told them recently, I said the church is one of the agencies that we must try to bring up to date so that it can cater for the spiritual needs of the people. Because the church is still also outdated in its approach, in its content. I mean it. One of the pastors was very bold to say that the church, I think it's Samadeyemi said that the church should look inwards and ask questions. Why is it every year we tell our members the same thing? Pray, fast, 100 days, 50 days, 1,000 days. If the next year, another one. We keep doing it, which is what Wole Soyinka will describe as cyclical pattern of human stupidity. We keep doing it. We keep doing it every year, and nobody can ask questions. The prayer I prayed last year as Agwarayato, another one this year. Was that prayer answered last year? But all of you are morons. The pastor has said it, we must do it. That pastor, Buchineke. Which is why I brought this book, because I'm going to do a lot of talking from here. By a pastor too, Pastor Chiefo Ejofobiri of Living by Design Ministry or Institute, the 7 Pillars of Wisdom. In my journey of faith, I saw a man that has a solution to a spiritual topple in Nigeria, in Africa today. His own is not to tell you, pray and fast. He will guide you and lead you to financial independence. Because you need financial independence to break through. You don't need 100 days fast. Go to China, go to Japan, they don't. Labor in prayers. My pastor will say labor room of prayer. Every day, Father, do it, do it. And after that, you go and sleep and you expect it to be done. Don't expect God to do by prayer what he has asked you to do by obedience. Subdue the earth, multiply, conquer. That is a command. It is not pray 24 hours to have a breakthrough. The command is express. So that is the way. And remember, this was a package by the colonial masters. They brought it together. And in the course of that, they indoctrinated you and made you now not to ask questions. Can you believe, even until recently, most of our bridges and flyovers are built by engineers from the West, not Nigerian engineers. I hope you know that. Your flyovers, your bridges, Third Mainland Bridge, Niger Bridge, by them overseas. And yet we have professors in engineering, we have PhD holders everywhere. So what kind of training did they receive? We should be asking such questions. Recently, even our president had to sublet our tax thing to France. I'm not against bilateral relationship. I like bilateral relationships. But man, what is autochthonous to me? Can France do that to you? They cannot. So when we're talking about these issues of character and values, I have spoken once at Coal City University some year and plus ago, and I told them the problem is lack of originality. Originality is a very dangerous thing. You need to know this. You know, it's not easy to be original. And what you have all spoken here, is simply to talk about how do we package. Packaging is what we do in Africa. We're not original. You know, a typical African, for you to, Eyatoyo, he spoke so well here because it's also within my domain of public speaking in the university, of oratory and rhetoric. It's also part of that. You know, he spoke so well. But that is partly part of our problem. I agree there is need for etiquette. What you talked about falls within etiquette. Diction, the right choice of words, you know. But what I'm saying, every language has inbuilt in it is courtesies, is etiquette. It's not a borrowed one. And there is a course I teach in the university now called Varieties of English. If you know British standard, do you know American standard? If you know American standard, do you know Australian standard or Canadian standard or even Nigerian standard? So they push their own to you to make you feel it's only when you speak, please, how do you, it's in your own language, use your own culture, project your own culture, and it sticks. That's the truth. So the point I'm making here with regard to learning and teaching and training is that a few things I've mentioned here. One, we have been trying to package ourselves to act right, act like some people will keep up with the Joneses. But the most important thing actually is originality. Yes, I agree there is a place for nurture. What the lady was talking about character, is actually nurture. When a child is born, he's faced with two things, nature and nurture. Those in social sciences know what I'm talking about. You get it? So nature has its own impact on a child. There is a movement that started in the French of 19th century called naturalism. That is how you see the effect of heredity and environment on the child. It's not just the artificial upbringing, because the parent is limited. The teacher is also limited. Child gets from this, gets from that, gets from that. The child will be fully developed into a balanced human being. And that is why we are told we are made of spirit, soul, and body. You must cater for this aspect, okay? So, but parents themselves, as you rightly said, you cannot give what you have. And I guess that is the inevitability of this particular program we have here today. Because some parents are limited by their background. So the last lady who spoke and said the teachers, the parents are moving their responsibilities to them, or source to them. She doesn't, maybe she didn't understand this background issues we're talking about. Not well tutored, was not well groomed along, and become the parent. Where do you expect her to start acting like a responsible parent? It's difficult. So that is why if you are exposed to helping a child, a mother, or a husband, even when they are grown, help them. Don't say it's not your responsibility, because the days are so dynamic. Things happen every day at a frenetic speed. That's the truth, you know. And you know, ironically, most of our children are more up to date with technology than the parents. I can tell you the truth. Many of them are more up to date. They know the tricks. There was a story I saw the other day. A child had his phone. The parents said, "Come and be reading your book before me." And the boy brought his book, and the mother was going through and saw that she didn't see the phone. As the guy was still, he put the phone in silent mode. So, and he was pretending to be reading a book. But as the mother was going around saying, he would flip the page to another, my son, you are doing well. You are doing well. Without knowing that the boy is completely immersed in the phone, in the chart. Why? They know these tricks because they are more knowledgeable about this than you. There are many platforms, Facebook, Instagram, this and that. What does the child need all these apps for? Ask yourself that question. And it's a major distraction. So I point to there must be a boundary. And it is incumbent on the parents and the teachers to stress those boundaries without, rubbishing the creative ability of their children. They go together. There is creativity, there are boundaries you stress. Stick and carrot methodology we need to adopt in raising our children. And then finally, because I know the others might have to speak after this, finally from this book, The 7 Pillars of Wisdom, by Pastor Austin Chefu and his wife, Chinwe Ejofobiri. There is something he x-rayed here. And these 7 pillars are from Solomon. You know him. How many of you are true believers here? True Christians here? Okay, good. I don't mean the brainwashed ones, though. Those who can listen and read critically. Okay? Here, Pastor Chefu says that the world system is characterized by dog eat dog. The world economic system is categorized along stratified planes. It's stratified. You have the high, you have the low. You have the aristocracy, you have the rich, you have the poor. And it is the interest of the custodians of the world economic systems to ensure that you remain where you are. I can tell you the truth. It's rare for any rich man to want you to become as rich as himself. It's true. Even those in government, it is rare. They want somebody to be doing their chores for them. And so if they leave you to become like, who will be doing it for them? That is why Marx frowned on capitalism, seriously, of any brand, because they want the hewers of wood and the fetchers of water to remain at their beck and call. Okay? So, and that is the world system. Anyhow you look at it, it is a wicked system. It is a system that pauperizes people and ensures that the elite remain a very tiny code, the access code to transformative covenant. Transformative covenant is what? Fear of God. And he gave good examples in the scriptures of those who had this covenant, code with God. Abraham, for instance, Moses, and the rest of them, you know them all. Jacob, they all had this covenant relationship with God. And you could see how God changed their condition. How God altered what should have been a poor state they would have been in forever. God changed it for the better. That is to say that in all these things we have talked about, we have not factored God in them. That is the God factor. What makes a difference in the life of a child? Yes, the parents have a role to play. Teachers have a role. Even the guardians, mentors have roles to play. But the overall goal is God Almighty. And I put Romans chapter 9, verse 15 and 16, that says that God shows mercy on whom he chooses to show mercy, and compassion on whom he chooses to show compassion. He says, it's not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of God that shows mercy. I've seen people who rose from very terrible homes, and God catapulted them to the highest peak in the world today. I don't know how many of you saw that video that went around. Some of the world leaders today, the kind of funny things they did when they were young. You saw it. The Maduro that had ruled Venezuela for 10 years, and he was a kabu driver in Nigerian parlance. He was a taxi driver. Maduro. Obama at some point sold some cheese and the rest of them. This is early beginning. They had poor beginning. Virtually all of them had one funny thing they did another. Somebody like Pope Francis, the late Pope Francis, was a bouncer at a club as a young man. Would you ever believe it? Such a man that was so revered and venerated. In fact, some people nearly worshipped Francis. But can you look at his back? Can you look at his history? Chinua Achebe again says, looking at the king's mouth, you will not believe he sucked the mother's breast. All of us did. But can you imagine Pope? People are salaming, prostrating when he walks past. But it was a bouncer at the club. That is to say, sometimes it is not the family. The family might be poor and wretched, but what matters is how do you channel that God to the values? And the values we are talking about now here are superior values anchored on spiritual essence of man. I don't want to just talk about church, because if I say church, it's the normal thing you keep hearing, or Christianity. I say you expose a child to superior values. And Solomon is a classical case in the Bible. After all he had, he was the richest man in the world of his time. In his time as a leader, the Bible says that gold was like stone in Israel. Gold was like stone. He had 700 plus 300, 1,000 women at his beck and call. So he could do anything he liked because he had the resources. But at the last of his existence, the last stage, he said, vanity of vanity, all is vanity. So part of the problem you have with peer pressure, peer group pressure, with material pursuit, they are all hinged on this lack of superior exposure to our children. I can tell you that. And many parents are guilty of it. I won't want my son to suffer like I suffered. I won't want my child to suffer like. What made you rich is because of the suffering, don't you know? It is. That's what places you where you are. In my time, I never lobbied for anything. I never gave anybody bribe to give me this or that. We believed in that. Honesty is the best principle. That's what you said. Honesty is the best principle. But where is that honesty today? In our larger plan as a nation. She made me laugh when she asked, is the president not? I laughed. I said, you have said so. You have said so now. Because you said you can't give what you don't have. Why is Nigeria? Let's be honest, yes. Why is Nigeria the way it is today? Let's be honest. When Buhari was a president, there was a child from Anambra State. He was an apprentice learning a trade. That video also went viral later, you know. And the uncle told him, Obiora, why did you go to school today? Why didn't you go to school today? And the boy yawned. Uncle Rapugodi Makasef. The boy spoke in Igbo. That's what the child said. Is it not the truth? Let's be honest. That is what we are doing in Nigeria, in Africa, is complete negation of ennobling values. That is what we are doing in Africa. Negation, complete negation of ennobling values. Values that remedy, we lack it. Apostle Paul will say, after preaching to others, I become a castaway. That's what we're doing. Thank God for Trump, Donald Trump. Without Trump, how many of you would have gone home on Christmas or New Year? Let's be honest. How many of you would have? And you think your children are not watching your funny attitude? They are seeing you, your weakness, your cowardice. They are seeing everything. That is why when she talked about leading by example, I said exactly. How can a parent be so cowardly, be so afraid of speaking the truth, and expect the child to uphold truth? I recall our president, Tinubu, when Buhari was still in office. Remember the herdsmen killed the daughter of the Yoruba elder. Is it Desonya? I can't remember his name. The Afenifere leader. And everybody knew, the press reported, is by Fulani herdsmen and all that. Just because our president wanted to be president at all costs. Emiloko. He went to that place. Where are the cows? Where are the cows? You saw him dramatizing it. Where are the cows? Just so he can give a good impression in the right quarters. You know what I mean by right quarters? Now he is there. And the truth is staring him in the face. He doesn't know how to come out clean to say, there are herdsmen, really. I've seen them. They have killed at all war. They have killed in this and that. He doesn't know. So Trump was handy to help him by saying we are going to ferret out these people perpetrating Christian genocide. But you know, they started denying it. An obvious fact, including some reverend fathers who had been abducted, killed a number of times, just because they want to be in the good book of the powers that be. They started lying to themselves that there's nothing like Christian genocide in Nigeria. How do you deal with such people? What do you want the children of such people to be like? Oh, I remember Abraham Lincoln. Some of you will remember the letter he wrote to his son in those days, 19th century America. That letter he wrote was to every American child. He said, he was telling his teacher, teach my child that it is more honorable to fail than to cheat. That was what Abraham Lincoln wrote to his son, and the copy spread to every American child. Today, do we teach our children that it is more honorable to fail than to cheat? Is that? When parents go to teachers and lobby and give money that their children should pass exams. There was a memo I saw circulating on social media. Lecturers are lamenting that the students sent to them through JAM and WAEC, they are dunderheads. They don't know anything. But when you look at their work, English A1, Maths A1, this B2, how did they get the A1s and they cannot even spell their names? Everybody's involved. Everybody is involved, including government. I tell you, I'm rounding off with this story. During our time in government here in Ebonyi, Honorable Nwere knows this. His Excellency and his wife, Mrs. Eunice, they did something that was revolutionary. Okay? They introduced this American overseas holiday for our young people. They were in secondary school then. And you know what they did? They said they don't want any child of any well-known person in the state, like commissioner or PEMSEC or whatever, to apply. So it was mainly for the children from background, poor background, to apply. And we insisted on the principles of that assessment. And at the end of the day, do you know the children that emerged? The brightest children, but from very weak homes. I can tell you one of them. Darlington Okoga, who's now a very successful lawyer, barrister in Abuja, said he hadn't seen electric light until the day Samuel brought them into Abakaliki for the first time. Shadrach was an orphan through and through, no father, no mother. These were the children that emerged. That is to tell you, if you do the right things in our country today, the right things will be done. But would they want it to be done? Would they want it to be done? That is the question. And today, these boys, these girls are doing pretty well all over the country and beyond because you insisted on principles, on quality, and now Ebonyi is richer for it and better for it. So teachers, ask yourselves, if you are an accessory to promoting students who don't deserve it, to passing them, there is one that circulated recently, one northern university that said to help those in final year to pass, 25% is passed. Have you ever heard that kind of thing? 25%. When in my university at AE Funai, if you make anything less than 45%, you can't even make the least grade. Of course, 50 is the pass. But somewhere in the same country, somebody with 25% is promoted, is passed. How do you expect them to do well in the outside world, in the society? So these things go together. And we have to bring back the spirit of Daniel. Daniel chapter 6 in the Bible. An excellent spirit. That's what we're looking for. Not paper qualification alone. Not paper qualification. Nigerians, we are tired of papers. We are tired of paper qualification. I am PhD to power 10. I am professor this and that. Those things, the times are gone. We don't want that. We want skills. We want entrepreneurship. We want things that will push us back to where we were before. There was a video I saw recently And I remembered Aba. As a secondary school student, Aba was a hotbed or hub of economic activities in Nigeria. I can tell you that Aba, Onitsha, Kaduna, all these textile industries. In fact, each time I was going on holiday to Aba, in those days in Aba, how many of you know Aba at all? From Umongasi axis, you will see factories all through. Factories all through. Doing tangible things, producing many things. Thank God Alex Oti is trying to bring it back. That's what. Many people built houses, bought new cars from working in factories. In Nigeria of yore, what has happened to that today? Everybody wants to be in government and enjoy Egombute. Is it not? That's what we all want to do. And I was just discussing with Mrs. Mori earlier. I said the president says that governors receive more money than they have ever received before. Trillions. Where are they? Where is the money? Sir, can you see it? Are they not your brothers and sisters? Why do you think governors keep moving from one party to another to the president's party? So that once you're anointed, but Nigerians will prove them wrong this time. I don't know about you because you are part of the problem we have. I don't know about you. You are part of the problem. You get it? What am I saying? Listen, we are going to show them Chege this time. They will see it. You know, how can somebody win an election under a party? They suffered, people made sacrifices, you got in there, only for you to move to another party. Because either you are afraid of the president or you are. Is it the president that is going to vote on that day? Is it not the electorate? The one that annoyed me most was this Enugu man, Pitamba. Pitamba was already doing well. People had already started accepting him and saying, hey, this guy seems to have a new style in governance. All of a sudden, he said he's moving to APC. What is wrong with us? What is wrong with us? So when you're talking about education, go back. That is the fruit. What you are imparting in students, that's where it's showing. I'm being honest with you. Assess yourselves as teachers. Assess yourself as public office holders. You have all failed. I have also failed, perhaps. I'm being honest with you. What is going on among us is a reflection of what we are doing in the classrooms, what we are doing in government, what we are doing everywhere. I wish you the best of training the trainers. It's well with you all. Thank you very much.
Wow.
The Duke's Infant and Children
Wow.
Foundation, advocating for children's brighter future.
Did you enjoy that? Are you sure you did? Shine the lights. Now, you did not sound like you enjoyed that. Shine the lights. Shine the lights. Shine the lights. Okay, let's give our prof here 20. Oh yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
The Duke's Infant and Child
Wow.
Foundation, advocating for
Say to your
children's
neighbor,
brighter future.
are you getting trained? I mean, just give that neighbor a little knuckle. Are you getting trained? Did you get a response? You got a response? Yeah. I know you have questions in your minds. How many of you have questions? You have a question. All right, just write it down. Write it down. Thank you so much, Prof, for that beautiful expose. Indeed, we're going to be great change agents for the next generation. Are we together? How many of you will be accurate timekeepers beginning from tomorrow? You'll be accurate timekeepers. All right. Thank you so much, Prof. Prof took us from the classrooms into politics, into history, took us to the pulpit. Where did we not go today? We went everywhere. Everywhere. All right. I know you're wondering why all of this is happening. We're moving into the next segment. Now, we really want to speed things up, all right? We want to speed things up. So we're going to have a panel discussion right now. And right after the panel discussion, we have just 2 more speakers. All right, and they would go back to back. I necessarily don't need to even come back up to introduce them to you. I think we have their citations, so we just push play to all of that. So right about now, I may welcome Rohama. She would be the moderator of this panel discussion. Please let's give her a big hand.
Thank you very much. I'm Siruki. Good afternoon, dear educators. Jennifer Ekweme, thank you very much. You're welcome. And next, we have Barrister Doris Chinedu Okoro. She's going to wear her parents' hat, her legal hat, and her teacher's hat. Barrister Doris Chinedu Okoro. Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause as she comes to the stage. All right. We also have, thank you very much. We also have Barrister Ferdinand Empress, who is going to join us also on the stage. Please let's make welcome our speaker. Okay, so Barrister Doris is also going to join us. And then finally, and not lastly, we also have Chika Agu. Please, a round of applause for Chika Agu.
Two.
All right. Thank you very much for this. I'm going to start with Lady Jennifer Ekweme. And my question for you is, if professionalism is a daily practice rather than a title, what behaviors must teachers consistently model?
Okay, so if professionalism was a daily practice, what
If professionalism was a daily practice, what behaviors must teachers consistently model in schools?
Okay, I think Prof started it off very well. So the first thing would be timeliness. Like Prof said, when a teacher shows up to school early, you're prompt. And the thing about showing up early is when you're early before the children come in, you're able to settle in and take charge of the class, take charge of the environment before they come in. And the second one would be integrity. I say integrity because teachers are known as people of integrity. And I would say that that is why in the INEC elections, it's usually vice chancellors that are called to come and act as returning officers because they are assumed to have integrity. So you see, integrity, a teacher must have integrity. And then a teacher must know their job. You should show up ready. You should show up knowing the concept of what you've been called to do. So you can't show up and you're confused, the children are confused, and you're not able to give direction. So you must have knowledge of what you are called to do in the first place.
Right. Thank you so much for that.
Then lastly, teachers should have empathy. You can't take up the role of a parent as a teacher if you're not empathetic. So teachers should be able to put themselves in the shoes of the children and the parents. And even when we are supposed to guide the parents and, help the parents go back to taking up their roles, it's something we should do from a place of empathy and not from a place of judgment. Because when we come to do it from a place of judgment, the parents, put up a defense. So we must be empathetic and approach these issues from a place of empathy.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that. I like what you said, that you need to show up because we're modeling these values that you have mentioned already. Thank you very much. My next question goes to Barrister Doris Chinedu Okoro. What competencies must every school insist on before calling someone classroom ready?
God. It's like the voice is completely gone. I'll try. Competencies schools must see in a teacher. Competencies school must see in a teacher to say the teacher is classroom ready. I always say that these things are not static. They are very dynamic. Because as the world is changing, competencies are changing. What you need to acquire to be a classroom-ready teacher is changing. Before now, if you can hold a chalk well, and if you can know how to darken your board, probably you're ready to be a classroom teacher. You move from there to know how to use your markers and your whiteboard. You are classroom ready. You can copy notes on the board and all. Now it has gotten to the point where you are expected to be tech savvy, to use the interactive board in class, to work with the children who are also very tech savvy. So from the basic knowledge of the topic, which is general to everybody and cannot change, from the basic knowledge of concept and topic you're going to teach, to knowing how to get your lessons ready, that one I don't think it changes. The method of getting it ready change, but being prepared cannot change. From knowing how to get yourself prepared for the lesson, and then knowing the method. Method is very dynamic. It changes per day, per second. In fact, these days, in this age of technology, it is becoming very imperative that every teacher to be classroom ready must be emotionally intelligent. So it's no longer, oh, I know how to teach my children mathematics. I understand the concept of all the topic. It's beyond that now. You will know the topic, you will know the method, which varies. You also have to be emotionally intelligent for you to be classroom ready. Now, I'm talking about being ready today. You know, today, you are required to know a lot about technology. It doesn't matter whether you like it or not. That's not the issue. Even today, as you go for interview in schools and for school to consider you classroom ready, one of the things they will ask you there is, are you computer literate? Are you tech savvy? Can you make videos and send classroom to the children? So, to summarize it, apart from the basic one that do not change, and that is knowing the subject matter, knowing you are an English teacher, do you know what you have to teach? Then, knowing how to prepare your lesson cannot change, but methods change. So, as the seasons come and go, it changes what schools are looking for you to declare you competent, ready classroom teacher.
Thank you very much for that. Please, a round of applause for her. She mentioned something here about classroom readiness. It means you have to ask yourself important questions and embrace innovation and change, and then make yourself adaptable to this change for you to be seen.
Intentionally lower standards. Okay, good day, everybody. So how do we unintentionally lower standards? In a bit to come again.
Yes. So how do we unintentionally lower our standards as teachers while claiming to support students?
Okay, so when teachers plan, I think it begins right from planning. Any good teacher that plans their lesson effectively understands the type of students they have in their class. And through the practice of differentiation, you are able to plan ahead of time for the children you have in class. So if you do not plan ahead of time, you definitely would lower standards. And most times, because of absence of differentiation, you might want to take a child ahead. You might want to take this set of children ahead, and then you might want, and in another case, you might want to take the lower level learners on, and then you are in a way bridging it, and you're not carrying the children along. So because of the practice of differentiation, if you put differentiation to test and put differentiation to act while you are planning your lesson, you definitely will be able to carry all your learners along. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, another round of applause for Ms. Chika. She mentioned something here, and it's about inclusion. As we already know, we are in a very fast-changing world, and so no one was be left behind. It means that whatever we are doing as teachers, we need to be very inclusive in our approaches, in our classroom readiness, in our modules that we use to teach in class, and making sure that we are carrying everyone along. My question is to Barrister Ferdinand Empress. You talked about character earlier on. And so my question here is, how do we help teachers, or how do we empower teachers to move from routine delivery to intentional transformational practice?
Okay, thank you very much. Like I mentioned earlier when we started, you can't give what you don't have. You can't give what you don't have, no more that non-word habit. So I think teachers should be empowered with knowledge at all times. They should be empowered with the requisite knowledge they need at all times. They should be empowered with the knowledge of values. They should be empowered with the knowledge of inclusivity. They should be empowered with every single item they need to thrive.
All right, thank you very much. Another round of applause for them. Another round of applause for Barrister Ferdinand. So we're going to move into the Q&A session, and if you have questions for them, before I ask them their final closing remarks, but if you have questions for any of the speakers, please raise your hand, and one of the ushers will get to you with a mic so that you can ask your question, and let us know who you're directing your question to. Please raise your hand so the ushers can come to you. Okay, there's a hand over here, please. There are 2 hands in this row. Okay, 3 now. 3 hands in this row, please. Thank you very much. So let us know who you're directing your questions to. He's going to get to you. Yes, thank you.
Please, before I continue, I want to know, is it based on the teachings or what you are just doing now?
Your question, do you mean
Yes.
your question?
Yes.
It's based on education, teachings, classroom readiness. You can ask your question.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
My question goes to the first speaker, Barrister Ugo Ferdinand. She talked about parents being talking to their children harshly, and then expect them to be patient, especially when they are emotional. You now transfer the aggression to your child or your children, and then you expect the children, or you be patient. When the child is aggressive, you say, can't you be patient? In fact, I'm asking this question out of experience. I'm guilty of that. So my question goes like this. In a situation like that, when the child has started acting this way, can the child be corrected? If yes, how?
Okay. Okay, thank you very much for that question. Like I mentioned earlier, if you in the course of my presentation, I mentioned modeling. Modeling. Whatever they see, that is what they act. So I think the first correction comes from the right modeling. Because no matter how much you talk, if you say A and you do B, the action will, continue. So I think the first thing to do is to model those right values that the children need to thrive. And I think the success will start from that point. I don't know if I answered your question.
Thank you very much. We have another hand raised over there. Yes.
My question is directed to Mrs. Chika Agu. And from the question you just asked her, how do we as teachers unintentionally lower the standard of the student? And she only pointed us to the teacher have to be ready to teach. Now my question is, in cases whereby we have to pass students or these people, the teachers, the students, due to the fact that we do not meet up with the scheme of work, and secondly, because the student didn't perform well at the end of the term, we tend to lower the pass score. Maybe intentionally, you are supposed to score 45 to pass, but because everybody is scoring within that range, you decide to add marks to them just because the student was in school, just because the student is neat, or because the student is obedient. But why the main thing that you have been taught, they cannot actually give it back to you. So don't you also think that doing this, you are actually also lowering the standard of the students? That is my question to Mrs. Agu. And the other question is to
Barrister, during the course of your teaching, you said we should treat individual or children as an entity. We shouldn't treat them based on what we've heard about them. And I think us on this point, children grow up from different background and different environment, which directly or indirectly has effect on those children. So since there's this factor that is affecting the children, don't you think that every child should be treated based on looking at his background and also the environment that this child is coming from when it comes to the aspect of learning? Thank you.
Okay, so your question. Yes, also when teachers put down the level of education like unintentionally, sometimes in some schools, their standard might be because the parents are paying the fees. Therefore, nobody should fail, right? Some schools also say, oh, this parent has 5 children. Therefore, especially practically in our environment here. So most times, teachers are made to put down the level of education and the standards just because they want children to pass, which is quite wrong. And when teachers do this, you are not helping those children, which definitely now leads in the long run to them engaging in examination malpractice and all. So all these could be factors that could make teachers trying to meet up with the scheme, trying to make sure that everybody in their class passes, trying to make sure that the head and the leaders above them do not come for them or come after them. They could also mean factors that can affect teachers and make teachers want to increase the scores of children and lower the standard of learning. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I believe we should be results-oriented. We shouldn't shift blames. I remember when Barrister Doris was talking, she mentioned about knowing how the child performed in her last class. For every child that is handed over to you, it is your duty to do your own bit. You don't blame a child maybe because the child is coming from an emotionally unstable home. It is your duty to assess that child and come up with strategies on how to correct whatever bad behavior or whatever action the child is displaying that is not worthy. Do you understand what I mean? So it is your duty. You don't have to shift blames. Yes, the environment might have nurtured the child to act differently or in a bad way, but it is your duty. The baton has been handed over to you. What are you going to do? Do we keep shifting blames? We don't keep shifting blames. We should also create our own environment and then groom the child the way the child is supposed to be groomed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We'll just take one more question. I think from that row, because we already have 2 from here. So that row, one more question. And then our panel speakers are going to give their last charges, please. Thank you.
My question is going straight to the second speaker. She said, there are so many factors that affect a child or that affect someone not to do well. So, since we have so many factors that affect someone not to do well, how can we cave those factors, like make them let that person do well? How can we cave it? That's my question.
Okay. The voice is going. See, I think the first thing you need to do is to identify the factors. Identify. I repeat, there are so many factors that affect a child's academic performance, majorly from home. First, I find out this factor. How can you help this child? Number one factor I hit on was the child not being prepared from home. What can you do to help a child not prepared from home? Do those things in school instead. If a child is struggling with taking instruction and executing instruction, you carve out simple instruction to keep coaching this child until the child learns to take instruction. If the child is struggling with finishing tasks, you have to come up with activities that will help a child to start a task and finish it. If I had my voice, I would have given you some. If a child is struggling with any factor from home, if a child is struggling with emotional challenge, it's still you that will look straight into a child's eyes and see what the child is struggling with. And if it's an emotional problem, you involve your superiors, you involve people around you. What can we do to help a child? Recently, we saw a child in year 9 struggling. We didn't know what it was, but when we got in experts, head of child mentoring, head of child support, they found that the child is masturbating. And you know those demons can grip a child, and the child really wants to stop, but it cannot stop. So when we found out, we had to start with our own measures. We start with leading the child to Christ and start mentoring, and the child is coping now. We could see the difference between that time and now. When he was struggling, he was always locked up. He was always on his own. By the time we found this out, the child is freer now. And, interacting well. So you have to first of all find out the factor, and you deal with the factor as you find out. You can't bring all of them together. They are not together. They are one. So what factor are you dealing with and how? And remember, if you need help, ask for help. Some of them you cannot handle alone. Some of them you need the parents. Some of them you need the school community. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Please, a round of applause for our speaker. And our panel speakers are going to give their final charges to teachers, educators, and school owners that are present here as we bring the panel session to a close. So I'll start from Lady Jennifer Ekweme.
Okay. In summary, I would say that our children don't rise to the levels of our expectations, and we will make good progress. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, like I mentioned earlier, values are built, they are not born. So as we get the requisite knowledge we need, we go ahead to transfer it to the children. As we build ourselves, we go ahead to impact our society. Each and every one of us is a values transformation agent, and we should go home with that word. It is not meant for people outside. It is meant for you, and it is meant for me. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I would like to say that teachers can unintentionally not give their best. The adage just says, if there's nothing inside the jug, there's nothing to pour from. You can't pour from an empty cup. So we need more professionalism, more knowledge needs to be gained by teachers. On the part of school owners, I would also like to say the school culture in a way affects the way and what the teachers give out. If the school culture is negative, it has a way of affecting teachers. So leadership must be on ground to be able to give instances at every lesson observation to the grow and glow challenges. Where is the teacher growing, and where does the teacher shine most, and where does the teacher need to work on? So lack of motivation can also make teachers not to give their best, and then the standard of education in the school can suffer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So in closing, what we need is collaborative leadership to take action. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you to my panel speakers.
Me?
The Duke's Infant and Child Foundation, advocating for children's brighter future.
All right. Okay, so like I told you, we have 2 more speakers. Actually, we're more like these 2 speakers that we have need to listen to them. We're more like saving the best for the last. All right? So we want you to pay attention. Shine the light. I thought you guys, I saw food going around. You're not hungry now. Are you hungry? You're hungry? But you have food. Okay, you're hungry for knowledge. All right, that's more like it. Shine the light. Say it now. Shine the light. Shine the light. Shine the light. All right, so multimedia, if you're ready, we still have Chika and we have David Folarami.
Ka Agu is a multi-potentialite serial entrepreneur and educator with a deep commitment to shaping future-ready children and sustainable communities. She is the founder